The position of the United States of America as the world's one and only true superpower is fading fast. There are serious socioeconomic issues plaguing America internally. On the international stage, America is losing its dominance as a military and economic superpower and world cop. Its massive, powerful army and foreign intelligence services have become useless in a new world where force alone does not achieve long-term geopolitical realities, nor creates democracies and wealth. America's aggressive foreign policies and meddling in other nations' affairs in the past 22 years became imprinted in the minds of billions of people due to advances in technology and the spread of social media. Russia and China are also not all that popular in the minds of billions of people. Nevertheless, they have been designing a rising new world order. So why is America declining? And how did it fail in spreading wealth, stability, peace, and democracy around the globe? Welcome to World Econ News, your daily dose of economics and finance. If you are interested in topics influencing the world economies and global financial flows, this is the place for you. Watch till the end if you want to get the latest answers, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification button to get the latest updates. Let's go! The United States of America is a democratic country. It consists of 50 states, a federal district, and 5 major unincorporated territories. It is a very big country in terms of size. At 9.8 million square kilometers, it is the world's 4th largest country by geographic area. With a population of more than 332 million people, it is the 3rd most populous country in the world. America has abundant supplies of coal, copper, lead, iron, natural gas, timber, bauxite, and uranium. The value of its natural resources stands at a staggering $45 trillion, second only to Russia. 18% of the land in the US is arable land. It is a major exporter of technology, consumer goods, information systems, foodstuffs, and everything that can cross your mind. Its population is very diverse, making it a true source of endless innovation, creativity, and inventions. The US population represents only 4.3% of the world's total, but it holds 30% of the total wealth in the world. Its military budget represents 40% of the total global military spending. By all means, America is the world's #1 military superpower, and internationally a leading political, cultural, and scientific force. It is currently sort of tied with China for the spot as the world's #1 economic superpower. It is extremely hard to think of America as a mere country, because in reality it has been at the helm of the world since the end of World War I. Historically, America grew and prospered in virtual isolation between 1815 and 1898. Throughout this period of isolation, America practiced liberal nationalism and had no interest in territorial expansion, colonialism, or global political influence. However, in 1898, America was pulled into the realm of international politics, conflicts, and treaties after it fought with Cuba for independence from the Spanish. The US-Spain War resulted in the Treaty of Paris, which ended the war, gave Cuba its independence, and also ceded important Spanish possessions to the United States, most notably Puerto Rico, the Philippines, and the small island of Guam. The United States suddenly became a colonial power with overseas dependencies. Currently, the United States has 5 major US territories: American Samoa, Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, and the US Virgin Islands. Each territory is partially self-governing and exists under the authority of the US government. According to most military experts and analysts, America currently has around 800 military bases in at least 85 countries. They also argue that the actual number may be even higher, as not all data is published by the Pentagon. They also say that America maintains secret intelligence gathering and eavesdropping stations in numerous locations around the globe. The immense size of the US naval forces also represents a massive fleet of mobile intelligence and military bases that are roaming every corner of the Earth's oceans. The American dollar is the currency most used in international transactions and is the world's foremost reserve currency, backed by its strong economy, military, and the petrodollar system, and its linked eurodollar and large U.S. Treasuries market. Several countries use the US dollar as their official currency, and in others it is the de facto currency. Hence, the United States of America is not a mere country. It is a global military, financial, and trade empire of immense size and scope. Its massive army, global reach, and international investments and assets mean that the decline of America internally does not necessarily translate into a quick decline of the American empire. The economy of America is highly developed. It is the world's largest economy by nominal GDP and net wealth, and the second largest by purchasing power parity, just behind China. It has the most technologically powerful and innovative economy in the world. Its firms are at or near the forefront in technological advances, especially in artificial intelligence, IT, operating systems, pharmaceuticals, and medical, aerospace, and military equipment. The US accounts for about 20% of the total global manufacturing output, second only to China. The largest U.S. trading partners are China, the European Union, Canada, Mexico, India, Japan, South Korea, the United Kingdom, and Taiwan. It is the world's largest importer and the second largest exporter. America is also very rich in natural resources, which cement its economic resilience. It has a well-developed infrastructure and high productivity. The New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ are the world's largest stock exchanges by market capitalization and trade volume. Foreign investments made in the U.S. total almost $4.5 trillion, while American investments in foreign countries total nearly $6 trillion. However, America is also the land of extreme inequality. It ranked the 45th highest in income inequality among 160 countries in 2021, and the highest compared to the rest of the developed rich nations. The decline of the American empire began in the year 2000. Right after George Bush stole the elections from Al Gore. Many think that George Bush was a highly clever man. However, all evidence points that the de facto rulers of America during the Bush administration were a handful of neoconservative elites headed by Vice President Dick Cheney. The neoconservatives arrived at the White House with a plan that was published in 1997 called the New American Century Manifesto. This manifesto was all about securing America as the one and only true economic and military superpower for another 100 years, the duration of the 21st century. The 9/11 attacks triggered the implementation of the neocons' plans for America and the world. They immediately began flexing America's muscles around the globe. They invaded Iraq and Afghanistan. Their hit list included several other countries such as Syria, Iran, Libya, Lebanon, North Korea, and Yemen. It's important to mention here that later it was Obama's covert interventionist policies that finished off the list of other countries. North Korea and Iran survived the ordeal but are under extreme sanctions. 20 years later, America came out of two wars not just defeated, but also on the verge of becoming the world's second superpower. The neoconservatives' calculus was flawed. It resulted in the loss of thousands of American lives and more than 1 million dead Arabs and Muslims. In a nutshell, while America was destroying 7 Arab countries, China was building a global economy that it dominates, and an army that is second only to America's. Love it or hate it, China is constructing a new world order. The cost of implementing the New American Century Manifesto exceeded $5 trillion. That does not include the $4 trillion that are still mysteriously missing from the Pentagon's budget between 2002 and 2016. These immense costs caused the American national deficit to reach a mind-boggling $29 trillion. Currently, the budget of the US military, coupled with those of the CIA, NSA, DARPA, and other international espionage agencies, consumes nearly 1/3 of the total annual US budget. Not only is such lavish and crazy spending not helping America's position, image, and reputation, but it is also contributing to its decline, both internally and internationally. Both the Republican and Democratic administrations over the past 22 years not only welcomed China in the World Trade Organization, but also encouraged heavy investment in its economy. This strategy is equivalent to shooting oneself in the foot twice. Foreign policy expert John Mearsheimer recently concluded that both Democratic and Republican administrations promoted investment in China and welcomed the country into the global trading system, thinking it would become a peace-loving democracy and a responsible stakeholder in a US-led international order. The second factor behind the decline of America is climate change. Only until recently, most Republicans were fierce climate change deniers. 80% of US energy comes from fossil fuels. The situation in China is even worse. This means the USA and China are not only the world's biggest polluters and CO2 emitters, but are also killing the planet with their competition and inherently flawed designs for the world order, which will continue to force the world to heavily rely on fossil fuels. In conclusion, the decline of America internally and as a global superpower is characterized by slowing growth, crushing debt, increasing inequality, an aging population, antisocial behaviors, continuous reliance on fossil fuels, miscalculations of China's strength, excessive automation, and aggressive, sometimes bloody, foreign policies. Would you like to learn more about what influences the world economies and global financial flows? Click on one of the videos that showed up on the left or go to our channel to find other interesting topics.